keep up with cost.
Welcome back to Keep Up with Cowstube. Today, we're gearing up to give the Finance Minister some killer tips for her first budget in their third term. From few soft suggestions to holistic economic strategies, we're diving deep into the financial playbook. So, buckle up and let's make fiscal fun again. Let's jump right in. The annual budget is more than just a set of numbers. It is the blueprint for India's economic future. As we aim to become a $5 trillion economy by 2025 and a $7 trillion economy by 2030, this budget carries immense weight. Honourable Finance Minister, it is imperative to craft policies tailored to our unique strengths while aligning with global best practices. With a projected GDP growth rate of 6 to 7% annually, consider leveraging the wisdom and experience of top financial advisors to guide our course. Key economic indicators such as the fiscal deficit and inflation rates should be closely monitored to shape our strategies effectively. This is not just about numbers. It's about building a more prosperous and equitable India. Aim for a per capita income of $4,000 by 2030 to ensure holistic economic growth.
Honourable Finance Minister, it is suggested that the upcoming budget include a range of tax benefits, such as a reduction in the corporate tax rate from 25% to 22%. This adjustment could positively impact around 1.2 million businesses currently subject to this tax rate. Additionally, introducing Simplified Standard Operating Procedures (SOPs) could potentially reduce compliance costs by up to 15%. This change would be particularly beneficial for over 500,000 small and medium enterprises. Drawing inspiration from successful global models, these measures could significantly reduce the compliance burden on businesses, thereby freeing up resources for investment and expansion. Lowering corporate tax rates, streamlining approval processes, and offering tax holidays for specific sectors are recommended strategies to unleash the entrepreneurial spirit of India Inc. The reduction in corporate tax rate alone could boost business growth by 8%. If implemented effectively, these reforms have the potential to significantly enhance India's competitiveness in the global market and attract substantial foreign investment. Projections estimate an increase of $50 billion in FDI over the next 5 years. By fostering a more conducive business environment, we could encourage innovation, boost productivity by 10%, and propel India towards its ambitious economic goals. The number of businesses benefiting from these changes is expected to rise to 1.5 million.
Honourable Finance Minister, central to our trillion-dollar vision could be a revitalized manufacturing sector. It might be beneficial for the 2024 budget to reflect this priority. Currently, India's manufacturing output stands at 17% of the GDP. Benchmarking our approach against international standards, we could consider offering a comprehensive package of incentives designed to propel India as a global manufacturing hub. With these incentives, we might project a 25% increase in manufacturing output over the next 5 years. These incentives could include a 15% tax break for new manufacturing units, subsidies covering up to 25% of capital expenditure, and preferential access to land and utilities, potentially reducing costs by approximately 20%. Furthermore, we might draw lessons from countries that have successfully transitioned into manufacturing powerhouses such as China, which increased its manufacturing output by 30% over a decade, and Vietnam, which saw a 20% rise. By fostering a robust manufacturing base, we could aim to create over 10 million jobs. Additionally, we might anticipate a 15% growth in exports, reducing our reliance on imports and strengthening our position in global supply chains.
India's startup ecosystem is a hotbed of innovation, with over 50,000 startups launched in the past decade. The 2024 budget presents a critical opportunity to further fuel this engine of growth. To build upon the progress made in recent years, it is recommended that the budget introduce measures that provide startups with the necessary support to flourish. In 2023 alone, Indian startups received over $5 billion in funding. For instance, simplifying the regulatory landscape could save startups up to 30% in compliance costs, as seen in Singapore. It would be beneficial for the government to consider similar measures to increase startup success rates. Streamlined clearance processes for new ventures could reduce the average time to start a business from 18 days to 5 days, similar to New Zealand. This efficiency can significantly impact the speed of innovation. Tax incentives for angel investors like those in the UK have led to a 40% increase in early-stage investments. It is advisable to implement similar incentives to attract more investment. Dedicated funds for startup incubation, modeled after Israel's Yozma program, could boost startup success rates by 25%. These funds have already created thousands of jobs. By nurturing the next generation of innovators, we can create over 1 million jobs and drive technological advancements across sectors. Government initiatives have been pivotal in this transformation. These initiatives will not only bolster economic growth, but also position India as a global leader in innovation. The impact on employment and technological progress is already evident. It is recommended that the Honorable Finance Minister consider these suggestions for holistic economic growth.
Honorable Finance Minister, expanding our presence in the global marketplace is crucial for achieving our economic aspirations. Currently, India's export volume stands at $400 billion. It is recommended that the 2024 budget unveils a suite of export enhancement policies aimed at increasing exports by 15% annually. By learning from successful international strategies and leveraging trade agreements, we can create an ecosystem that facilitates and rewards export-oriented businesses. A $5 billion fund to support export infrastructure would be a significant step in this direction. Measures such as export subsidies worth $2 billion, tax benefits for export earnings up to 10%, and streamlined customs procedures to reduce clearance time by 30% are highly recommended. Additionally, identifying and focusing on sectors where India enjoys a competitive advantage, such as textiles and IT services, and providing targeted support to transform them into global leaders would be beneficial. By diversifying our export basket and expanding into new markets, we can aim to increase foreign exchange reserves by $50 billion, create 2 million jobs, and enhance India's standing in the global economy. Trade agreements with key markets like the EU and ASEAN should be prioritized to play a significant role in this growth.
The efficient movement of goods and services is the backbone of a thriving economy. Currently, India's logistics sector ranks 44th in the World Bank's Logistics Performance Index. The 2024 budget could benefit from allocating Rs 1.5 trillion towards logistics infrastructure, aiming to boost economic growth. It is recommended to upgrade our transportation networks with a 20% increase in port capacity and leverage technology to improve supply chain efficiency. These upgrades could potentially reduce transportation costs by an estimated 15% and lead times by 20%, enhancing the competitiveness of Indian businesses and attracting foreign investment. A holistic approach encompassing road, rail, air, and waterways is essential, ensuring seamless connectivity across the country. Consider adding 10,000 kilometers of new highways and 5,000 kilometers of new rail lines. By focusing on these key areas, the expected impact on efficiency and cost reduction could unlock the full potential of our domestic market, driving sustainable economic growth.
Infrastructure is the bedrock upon which economic growth is built. The 2024 budget could consider allocating Rs 10 lakh crore towards bolstering India's infrastructure, focusing on projects that yield high economic returns. Current projects such as the expansion of national highways, modernization of railway networks, and the development of new airports and ports are commendable. It is recommended that new projects aim to further enhance connectivity and efficiency, with clear timelines set for completion within the next 5 years. Investing in roads, railways, airports, and ports could create approximately 2 million jobs in the short term and potentially reduce transportation costs by 15% over the next 5 years. Additionally, allocating Rs 1.5 lakh crore for sustainable infrastructure development, incorporating green technologies and practices, would be a forward-thinking move. This approach would ensure that our economic growth is environmentally responsible and benefits future generations, with an estimated reduction of carbon emissions by 20% by 2030.
Agriculture remains the backbone of the Indian economy, contributing around 18% to the GDP and employing over 50% of the workforce. Currently, India's agricultural output stands at approximately 275 million tons annually. To the Honourable Finance Minister, it is recommended that the 2024 budget allocate at least rupees 1.5 lakh crore to revitalise this crucial sector. Empowering farmers with the necessary resources and support is essential for their prosperity. Consider measures to enhance agricultural productivity by 20%, improve market access for 70% of farmers, and mitigate the risks faced by farmers through better insurance coverage, providing timely and affordable credit to farmers with a target of rupees 2 lakh crore in agricultural loans, and investing rupees 50,000 crore in agricultural research and technology could significantly strengthen rural infrastructure. Furthermore, exploring innovative solutions like crop insurance schemes covering 80% of crops and direct income support programs could provide a safety net for our farmers. Encouraging them to adopt modern farming practices may increase their income by 25% over the next 5 years.
Honourable Finance Minister, creating ample employment opportunities for our young and burgeoning workforce should be a paramount concern. With India's current employment rate at 7.2%, it is crucial to create 10 million jobs annually to keep up with the growing labour force. The 2024 budget could address this challenge by allocating Rs 50,000 crores specifically for job creation and skilling measures. These initiatives might reduce the unemployment rate by 2% over the next 5 years. Investing rupees 20,000 crores in education and vocational training programs tailored to the needs of the 21st century job market would be beneficial. Skilling programs have shown a success rate of 85% in job placements. Equipping our youth with the skills and knowledge required to excel in rapidly growing sectors is essential. For instance, the technology sector is expected to grow by 15% annually, and the renewable energy sector aims to create 1 million jobs by 2030. Collaboration between the government, industry, and educational institutions is vital. A rupees 10,000 crore fund to support partnerships that ensure our workforce is equipped with in-demand skills would be a strategic move. Historically, these partnerships have increased job readiness by 30%.
Honourable Finance Minister, to truly unleash the full potential of our economy, it is essential to actively engage all segments of society, including women, who constitute 48% of India's population. The 2024 budget could greatly benefit from prioritising initiatives that enhance women's engagement and diversity in the workforce, where women currently represent only 23% of the labour force. Consider addressing the gender pay gap, which stands at 19%, providing affordable childcare options and fostering a safe and supportive work environment for women. Additionally, empowering women entrepreneurs by ensuring they have access to capital, mentorship, and networking opportunities could be transformative, as only 14% of startups in India are led by women. By dismantling the barriers that hinder women's full participation in the economy, we can unlock vast, untapped potential and create a more just and equitable society, potentially adding $700 billion to India's GDP by 2025. It would be prudent to highlight support programs for women and introduce policies that foster a more inclusive and diverse workforce, ensuring that women have the resources and opportunities to thrive in every sector.
Attracting foreign investment is crucial for fueling India's economic growth. The 2024 budget could further simplify the foreign investment process, aiming for a 15% increase in FDI inflows, which amounted to $81.72 billion in 2021 to 22. By reducing approval times from 90 days to 45 days, easing restrictions on foreign ownership in key sectors, and offering tax incentives projected to save investors $2 billion annually, we can make India more attractive to global investors. Establishing a predictable and transparent regulatory environment could significantly boost investor confidence, with a goal of attracting $100 billion in long-term investments by 2025. Positioning India as a global hub for manufacturing, innovation, and services is essential. Aiming to increase the manufacturing sector's GDP contribution from 17% to 25% by 2030 would be a commendable target. Enhancing the ease of doing business through streamlined regulations and improved infrastructure could further attract foreign investors, and boost economic growth. Honorable Finance Minister, these steps could pave the way for holistic economic growth.
Honorable Finance Minister, building on the foundation laid in earlier chapters, it would be prudent to reiterate our commitment to bolstering the manufacturing sector, which currently contributes approximately 17% to India's GDP. Consider enhancing the Production-Linked Incentive PLI scheme, which has already attracted investments worth Rs 1.19 lakh crores. Exploring additional financial policies, such as targeted loans and credit guarantees, could make capital more accessible to manufacturers. For instance, increasing the Credit Guarantee Fund to Rs 1 lakh crores would be a significant step. Furthermore, enhancing export assistance programs could provide manufacturers with the support they need to compete effectively in global markets. With India's exports reaching $400 billion in 2023, aiming for a 10% annual increase seems achievable. Establishing export processing zones, providing subsidies on export freight costs, and offering tax breaks for export earnings are measures worth considering. Setting up 10 new export processing zones by 2025 could be transformative. By creating a comprehensive support system for manufacturers, we can accelerate the growth of this vital sector. This would create a virtuous cycle of investment, job creation, and economic prosperity, with the manufacturing sector projected to generate 1 lakh new jobs by 2025.
Honorable Finance Minister, to achieve seamless connectivity within India and with the rest of the world, it is essential to prioritize connectivity in our economic strategy. While India's connectivity infrastructure is growing, there are still significant gaps. The 2024 budget should propose ambitious plans to enhance connectivity nationwide. This could include investing in high-speed rail networks, expanding airport infrastructure, and developing new ports and logistics hubs with clear timelines for completion. Leveraging technology to bridge the digital divide should also be a priority. Improved connectivity will facilitate the efficient movement of goods and people, attract foreign investment, boost tourism, and integrate remote areas into the national economy. These initiatives will create jobs, spur economic activity, and require significant investments as outlined in the budget. Such measures will bring India closer to its goal of becoming a global economic powerhouse.
Increasing the disposable income of the average Indian citizen is not just socially desirable, it's economically sound. The 2024 budget could propose individual tax reforms aimed at boosting the disposable income of the middle class. Currently, the basic exemption limit stands at Rs 2.5 lakh, but it might be beneficial to raise it to Rs 3 lakh crore. Additionally, offering higher deductions for savings and investments up to Rs 2 lakh under Section 80C could be considered. Rationalizing the tax slabs to reduce the burden on lower income groups would also be a prudent move. These changes are expected to increase disposable income, potentially leading to a 10% rise in consumer spending. Approximately 50 million taxpayers could benefit from these reforms. A thriving middle class, which constitutes 30% of the population, is the engine of a robust economy. Empowering them financially will likely have a ripple effect across sectors. Honorable Finance Minister, these recommendations could pave the way for holistic economic growth.
The Make in India initiative, launched in 2014, aims to transform India into a global manufacturing hub. Since its inception, the manufacturing sector's contribution to GDP has increased from 15% to 17%. To the Honorable Finance Minister, it is recommended that the 2024 budget reinforces its commitment to this vision by aligning our global trade policies to support domestic manufacturing. In 2023, India's exports reached $400 billion, a significant milestone. This could include negotiating favorable trade agreements that open up new markets for Indian goods while protecting domestic industries from unfair competition. For instance, the recent trade agreement with Australia is expected to boost exports by 20%. It is also advisable to leverage our participation in multilateral trade organizations to advocate for a rule-based global trading system that benefits developing countries. India's active role in the WTO has already led to favorable outcomes in 70% of trade disputes. By creating a conducive environment for domestic manufacturing and promoting exports, we can boost our foreign exchange reserves, create jobs, and establish India as a key player in global supply chains. The manufacturing sector is projected to create 100 million jobs by 2025. The proposed support measures in the 2024 budget are expected to further increase trade volumes. With strategic trade agreements and policy support, India's exports could see a growth of 25% over the next 5 years.
The 2024 budget offers a pivotal moment to steer towards a brighter economic future for all Indians. To the Honourable Finance Minister, implementing these policies effectively could potentially elevate India's GDP growth rate to 8%, create 10 million jobs, attract $100 billion in foreign investment, and significantly improve the lives of millions. We recommend focusing on key milestones such as advancements in technology, infrastructure development, and educational reforms. It would be beneficial to boost the manufacturing sector, enhance digital connectivity, and promote sustainable development. By working together, we can build an India that is not only economically powerful, but also equitable and prosperous for all.